So they thought it was over, thought they could walk away and let their sins dissolve into the cracks of yesterday. That's the funny thing about people. They build prisons of illusions for themselves and call it freedom. They leave behind wreckage, thinking time will sweep it all under the rug. But you're not time's fool, are you? You've seen it. You've lived it. They tore you apart, didn't they? Ripped the very essence of who you are. They walked over your soul like it was just another stepping stone. They laughed, oh, they laughed, thinking they had won. But here's the joke. Victory isn't when they laugh last. It's when you stop needing to laugh at all. Let me tell you something about pain. Pain isn't your enemy. No. Pain is your weapon. It sharpens you, sculpts you. Weakness folds under pain. Strength rises through it. That ache in your chest every time their faces come to mind, that's not a wound. It's your body's way of telling you it remembers, and it's not done yet. You ever seen a lion in the wild? Not the ones in cages, no. I'm talking about the real kings. When they're wounded, they don't crawl into a hole and die. They let the blood dry, they lick their wounds, and then they hunt. Do you hear me? They hunt. And you, what have you been doing? Sitting there, letting their words, their betrayals, define you. Oh, don't get defensive now. I'm just saying what you're too scared to admit. You've been playing victim, haven't you? Wallowing in their mistakes, replaying their lies. But let me break it down for you. The only way to erase their betrayal is to replace it with your triumph. You think they've won because you're silent now? Because you're broken? Broken isn't the end. Broken is the beginning. When glass shatters, it doesn't disappear. It becomes sharper. You've got shards in you now. Use them. Cut through their lies. Cut through their expectations. Let me give you a little story. There was this man, a nobody. People laughed at him, mocked him, said he'd never be anything. And for years he believed them. He sat in the shadows, swallowed by their voices. Until one day he stopped listening. He didn't need their validation anymore. He started building, quietly, ruthlessly. And when he finally stepped into the light, they couldn't look at him. Not because they were ashamed, no, but because his brilliance blinded them. That man, he didn't win because he proved them wrong. He won because he stopped caring about their opinions. You don't rise to destroy them. You rise because their destruction is inevitable when you stand tall. Here's the real kicker, though. Your torment isn't their victory. Your torment is their reminder. Every time they see you, they'll remember what they did. Every time they hear your name, they'll hear the echoes of their own guilt. And when you succeed, And you will. They'll choke on their own laughter. But let me be clear. This isn't about revenge. No. Revenge is for fools. This is about reclaiming what they tried to steal from you. Your peace, your purpose, your power. They didn't destroy you. They just gave you a reason to rebuild stronger. You've got two choices here. Stay down, let the dirt swallow you, or rise and make that dirt the foundation of your empire. But let me warn you, rising isn't easy. It's cold, it's lonely, and it's brutal. The road back isn't paved with gold. It's paved with sweat, blood, and tears. And the only companion you'll have is your own reflection. But that's all you need. Because when you look in the mirror and see the scars, you'll know you earned every inch of who you are. And those scars, they're not signs of weakness. They're medals of survival. Wear them proudly. Now, let me give you a little logic, something to chew on. You ever notice how the strongest trees grow in the harshest winds? It's not the calm that makes them stand tall. It's the storm. Your life? It's that storm. And every blow you've taken has rooted you deeper, made you stronger. So stop fearing the wind. Embrace it. Become it. You see, they thought it was over because they measured your worth by your silence. But silence? Silence is the loudest scream. It's the calm before the reckoning. And your reckoning is coming. Not for them, no, but for yourself. You owe it to yourself to rise. Not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. Because here's the truth they don't want you to know. Their real torment isn't your pain, it's your perseverance. Every step you take forward is a dagger in their conscience. And when you finally reach the top, they'll realize their greatest mistake wasn't betraying you. It was underestimating you. So what's it going to be? Are you going to sit there, let their whispers define your destiny? Or are you going to stand, let your actions drown out their noise? The choice is yours. But remember this, they thought it was over. They thought they had won. But their real torment has only started. You see, most people crumble under the weight of betrayal. They shrink, thinking that if they stay small enough, quiet enough, the world will stop noticing them. But let me tell you something. It's the noise in the silence that makes the wolves howl. It's the quiet ones, the ones licking their wounds in the dark, that become unstoppable when they rise. I'm not here to pat you on the back or tell you it's going to be easy. No, I don't deal in fairy tales or bedtime stories. This is the real world. And in the real world, nobody comes to save you. Nobody cares enough to pull you out of the pit. It's you, always you. So if you're waiting for someone to show up, forget it. The only hands pulling you out of this mess are your own. But let me explain something they never taught you about strength. Strength isn't about muscles, about being able to push harder or hit stronger. Strength is about enduring. It's about walking through the fire and not letting the flames consume you. Strength is looking at the ashes of everything you've lost and saying, I'm not done yet. They thought you'd break, didn't they? They thought they could shatter you into a million pieces and sweep you under the rug of their success. But let me tell you something about broken things. They come back sharper. You ever try to piece shattered glass back together? It doesn't fit the same. The edges become dangerous, jagged. That's you now. You're not the same as you were before. You're sharper, harder, and far more dangerous than they'll ever understand. But don't waste your sharpness on revenge. No, that's a fool's game. Revenge is a distraction. It's an endless loop of trying to hurt the ones who hurt you. And while you're stuck in that loop, they're living rent-free in your head. You want to win? Then outgrow them. Outlast them. Make them irrelevant in the grand story of your life. Here's a little logic for you. If they had the power to destroy you, you wouldn't be sitting here right now. Think about it. You're still breathing, still standing. Well, maybe barely, but you're here. That means their power over you is an illusion. Their betrayal didn't kill you. It just showed you who they really are. And now that you know, you can build a world where their lies don't reach you anymore. You know why betrayal hurts so much? It's not the act itself. It's the trust that gets shattered. Trust is fragile like glass, and when it breaks, it cuts deep. But here's the thing. Trust isn't something you give away anymore. From now on, you make people earn it. Every piece, every fragment, they have to prove they're worthy. And if they're not, you walk away. No explanations, no second chances. You've earned the right to be ruthless with your boundaries. Now, let's talk about this pain you're carrying. You think it's a curse, don't you? Something you want to get rid of. But pain is the only honest thing in this world. It doesn't lie to you. It doesn't flatter you. It tells you exactly where the wound is. And until you face it, until you sit with it and understand it, it's going to keep haunting you. Pain is a teacher. A cruel one, yes, but a teacher nonetheless. It's trying to show you something about yourself, about them, about the world. So stop running from it. Stop numbing it. Sit with it. Listen to it. And when you've learned the lesson, let it fuel you. Because the strongest people aren't the ones who avoid pain. They're the ones who use it. You ever notice how people avoid talking about the dark stuff? They want everything to be light, happy, easy. But life isn't light. Life is shadows and storms. And you're not meant to be a creature of light. You're built for the darkness, for the nights when the world turns its back on you, for the moments when it's just you and the echoes of your own thoughts. That's where true strength is born. in the silence, in the shadows. It's not about being fearless. Fear is natural. It's about standing in the face of that fear and saying, "You don't control me." You think they're happy now? You think their laughter means they've won? Let me tell you something about people who hurt others. They're the weakest ones of all. Their cruelty is a mask, a way to hide their own insecurities. And when you rise, when you become everything they said you couldn't, that mask slips. They'll see themselves for what they truly are: small, pathetic, and irrelevant. But don't let their weakness distract you. Focus on your strength. Focus on the empire you're building brick by brick. And when it's done, when you're standing at the top, you won't even hear their whispers anymore. There'll be nothing but a distant memory, a reminder of who you used to be and how far you've come. Now let me give you the cold, hard truth. This isn't going to be a straight path. There will be setbacks. There will be days when the weight feels too heavy, when the darkness feels too thick. But those are the days that matter most, because those are the days that test you, that shape you. And when you push through, when you rise despite it all, you'll realize something incredible. Nothing and no one can break you anymore. So let them think it's over. Let them laugh. Let them celebrate your silence, because their real torment has only started. Every breath you take, every step you move forward is a reminder that they didn't win. You're still here, still fighting. And that's the punchline they'll never recover from. And you know what makes it even better? The quietness of your rise. Let them keep thinking you're finished. Let them believe their chapter in your story was the final one. What they don't realize is that you've picked up the pen. You're writing your own story now, in ink so bold it burns through the pages. But you're not broadcasting it, not seeking their approval. You're moving in silence, like a storm gathering strength. And when you unleash, it'll shake the ground beneath their feet. They thought they knew you, thought they could predict your next move. But the beauty of transformation is that it makes you unrecognizable. Not just to them, but even to yourself. You won't just be better. You'll be different, stronger, wiser, untouchable. Let me tell you something about power. Real power isn't loud. It doesn't shout or demand attention. Real power is quiet, like a smoldering fire that refuses to go out. And you're that fire. You've been burning all this time. Even when they tried to extinguish you, they poured their lies, their betrayals, their mockery onto you, thinking it would snuff you out. But instead it fed the flames. Now here's the part they'll never understand. Their betrayal didn't destroy you. It refined you. Like steel in the forge, you've been tempered by their deceit. Every lie, every betrayal, every wound. They're not your chains, they're your armor. Wear them with pride. They're proof that you've survived what they thought would kill you. And let me talk to you about loss. Oh, I know you've lost a lot. People, opportunities, pieces of yourself. A loss feels like an open wound, doesn't it? Like something's been ripped out of you, leaving a hole that nothing can fill. But loss is a teacher, just like pain. It shows you what matters, what doesn't, and who truly deserves a place in your life. The people who left you, let them go. Their absence is a gift. It's space for you to grow, to build a life that doesn't include their poison. And the opportunities you missed, they weren't yours to begin with. What's meant for you will find its way to you. But you have to be ready to receive it. You can't do that while clinging to the past. Now let me hit you with some cold truth. The world owes you nothing. Not an apology, not an explanation, not a second chance. And that's fine, because you don't need the world to give you anything. Everything you need is already inside you. Strength, resilience, determination. They're all there, waiting for you to tap into them. So stop looking outward for validation. Stop waiting for someone to tell you you're enough. You are enough. You've always been enough, but let's not sugarcoat this. The road ahead is going to be brutal. You'll face obstacles, doubts, and moments where you'll want to give up. But those moments, they're where the magic happens. They're the moments that separate the weak from the strong, the quitters from the fighters. And you, my friend, are a fighter. You've already survived the worst they could throw at you. What's a little more hardship compared to that? You've been through the fire, and you're still standing. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's strength. And strength isn't something you're born with. It's something you earn, moment by moment, choice by choice. You see, they thought it was over because they underestimated your will to rise. But what they don't realize is that the end of one chapter is the beginning of another. And this new chapter, it's yours to write. No more living by their rules, no more dancing to their tune. You're the author now, and your story isn't a tragedy, it's a triumph. Let me give you a little perspective. Imagine a seed buried in the ground. It's dark, cold, and suffocating. Most people would think that's the end. But what they don't realize is that the seed isn't buried. It's planted. And in that darkness, it's growing, gathering strength, preparing to break through the surface. You're that seed. The darkness isn't your grave, it's your beginning. You think this pain is unbearable now? Wait until you see what it's building inside you. The person you're becoming will look back on this moment and thank you for not giving up. They'll thank you for enduring, for fighting, for believing in a future that seemed impossible. And those who doubted you, those who left you for dead, They'll watch in silence as you rise, unable to comprehend how you turned their betrayal into your strength. So what's it going to be? Are you going to let their actions define you? Are you going to let their words echo in your mind, controlling your every move? Or are you going to take back the narrative? Are you going to rise, not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right? Because here's the thing, the real torment isn't in your pain, it's in your resilience. Every step you take forward, every success you achieve, is a reminder of their failure. They thought it was over, but it's only just begun. And when the dust settles, when the ashes clear, you'll be the one standing tall, while they're left to choke on their regrets. Get up. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, start building, start fighting, start living, because they thought it was over. But you, my friend, are just getting started. And don't just get up to prove a point. Proving a point is temporary, fleeting. Get up because you owe it to yourself. You owe it to the person you were before they broke you, to the person who fought for you when no one else did. Get up, because lying down and letting them win isn't who you are. You weren't built to surrender. You weren't designed to break. Let me explain something about this pain you're carrying. It's not a punishment. No, it's a reminder, a sharp, unrelenting reminder of what you've been through, and more importantly, what you've survived. Every scar on your soul is a medal of honor. Every sleepless night, every tear shed in silence is proof that you are still here, still breathing, still fighting. You know what scares them? It's not your anger, your sadness, or even your silence. It's your perseverance. It's the fact that no matter how many times they tried to bury you, you kept rising. That terrifies them because it means they have no power over you. Their betrayal, their lies, their cruelty, it was supposed to destroy you. Instead, it built you into someone they can no longer control, someone they no longer recognize. And that's the key, isn't it? To make them irrelevant, not through vengeance, not through hatred, but by outgrowing them, by building a life so full, so rich, that their existence becomes a footnote in your story. Not the climax, not the ending, just a forgotten, insignificant chapter. But I'll be honest with you, this journey isn't for the weak. It's for those willing to face the mirror every day and confront their own demons. It's for those willing to accept that the only person responsible for their future is themselves. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to fix this for you. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you'll find the strength to rise. Let me break it down for you. The world doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your reasons, your justifications, or your sob stories. It only cares about results. Harsh? Maybe. True? Absolutely. And the sooner you stop looking for sympathy, the sooner you'll start finding solutions. Think about the greats, the ones who built empires, changed the world, left legacies, do you think they did it without pain, without struggle, without betrayal? No. They faced it all, and they used it. They turned their pain into fuel, their betrayal into lessons. They didn't let their circumstances define them. They defined their circumstances. You can do the same. You have the same fire burning inside you, the same unyielding spirit. The only difference between you and them is that they chose to rise, while you're still sitting here debating whether it's worth it. Let me make it simple for you. It is. It's worth every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt. Because at the end of this road, you'll find a version of yourself you didn't even know existed. You want logical examples? Fine. Look at nature. The strongest trees grow in the harshest conditions. The ones that survive storms, droughts, and fires are the ones that stand the tallest, the ones that bear the most fruit. That's you. You're not some fragile flower wilting in the sun. You're a tree, rooted deep, unshakable. And every storm you've faced has only made you stronger. Or look at diamonds. They're born under pressure, under heat so intense it would destroy anything else. But that pressure, that heat, it doesn't destroy them. It transforms them. It turns them into something unbreakable, something priceless. That's what you're becoming. Every ounce of pressure, every moment of pain is shaping you into something they'll never be able to touch. But here's the catch. You have to want it. You have to want it more than you fear the pain, more than you crave the comfort of staying down. Because staying down is easy. It's familiar. It's safe. Rising? That's where the real challenge lies. Rising means stepping into the unknown, facing your fears, and embracing the uncertainty of what comes next. And you're gonna fail. Oh yes, failure is part of the process. You're gonna stumble, fall, and question whether it's even worth it. But failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a step on the path to it. Every time you fall, you learn. Every time you get back up, you grow. And one day, you'll look back and realize that every failure was a brick in the foundation of your success. Let them laugh. Let them think they've won. Because while they're celebrating your supposed defeat, you're building quietly, relentlessly. And when you finally step into the light, they won't know what hit them. They'll see the empire you've built, the strength you've cultivated, and they'll realize too late that they didn't destroy you. They made you. Here's the final truth. Their betrayal was a gift. A painful, bitter gift, yes, but a gift nonetheless. It showed you who they are, and more importantly, who you are. It stripped away the illusions, the lies, and the false comforts, leaving you with nothing but the raw, unfiltered truth. And truth, my friend, is power. They thought it was over, but it's just the beginning. Their real torment has only started, because every step you take forward is a reminder of their failure. Every success you achieve is a testament to your strength. And every moment you live, your truth is a dagger in the heart of their lies. And this story you're writing, it won't be pretty. It won't be clean or flawless, but it will be real, raw, unapologetically yours. You don't owe anyone perfection. You don't owe anyone explanations or apologies for how you're putting yourself back together. All that matters is that you do it, piece by piece, inch by inch, moment by moment. This isn't about becoming who you used to be. No, that version of you is gone. This is about becoming someone new, someone stronger, someone unbreakable. Let's talk about their laughter. Oh, it's loud now, isn't it? Echoing in your head, mocking you in every quiet moment. But here's the funny thing about laughter. It fades. It always does. And when it's gone, what's left? Silence, regret, guilt. Their laughter isn't a victory. It's a mask. It's their way of hiding from the truth, from the knowledge that they've lost something they'll never get back. You. You see, they don't laugh because they're happy. They laugh because they're afraid. Afraid of what you'll become. Afraid of what you'll achieve without them. And deep down, they know. They know their betrayal wasn't the end of you. It was the end of them. Their laughter is their last attempt to convince themselves otherwise. But let me tell you something about silence. It's powerful. It's deafening. When you stop reacting, stop explaining, stop engaging, that's when they truly lose. Because silence forces them to confront their own actions, their own lies. It forces them to face the truth they've been running from. That you don't need them. That you're better off without them. And when you rise, when you build a life so full, so rich, so undeniably yours, their laughter will turn to silence. And that silence, it'll eat them alive, because they'll realize they didn't just lose you. They lost the chance to be a part of something extraordinary. Now, let's talk about rebuilding. It's not about starting over. It's about starting better, stronger, smarter. You don't need to erase the past to build a future. The past is your foundation. Every wound, every scar, every betrayal, it's all part of the story. Use it. Let it guide you, but don't let it define you. Rebuilding isn't just about creating something new. It's about destroying the old habits, the old fears, the old doubts. Tear them down, brick by brick, until there's nothing left but a blank canvas. And then start painting. Paint boldly, fearlessly, unapologetically. Paint a life that reflects who you are now, not who they tried to make you. And don't rush it. Growth takes time. Healing takes time. This isn't a race. It's a journey. And every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Celebrate those steps. Celebrate the moments when you choose to keep going, even when it feels impossible. Celebrate the victories, no matter how minor they seem, because each one is proof that you're still fighting, still moving forward. You know, people love to talk about forgiveness, about letting go. But let me tell you something, letting go isn't about them. It's not about giving them peace or absolution. It's about freeing yourself. Forgiveness isn't a gift you give them. It's a weapon you take away from them. When you forgive, you take back the power they had over you. You stop letting their actions dictate your emotions, your choices, your life. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending it didn't happen. It means acknowledging the pain, the betrayal, and choosing to move forward anyway. It means refusing to let their actions define your story. Forgiveness is strength, not weakness. And when you find it within yourself to forgive, you'll realize it was never about them. It was always about you. Let's talk about the future. It's vast, uncertain, terrifying, but it's also full of possibility. Every choice you make, every step you take, shapes it. And right now, you have a choice. You can let their betrayal chain you to the past, or you can use it as fuel to propel you forward. You can let their lies define you, or you can write your own truth. This is your moment, your turning point, the moment when you decide who you're going to be. Not for them, not for anyone else, but for yourself. You owe it to yourself to rise, to fight, to build a life so full, so rich, so undeniably yours, that their betrayal becomes nothing more than a distant memory. They thought it was over, but they were wrong. Their real torment has only started. And your rise, that's the punchline they'll never forget.